Welcome to Let's Talk Love. I've been off for a while. I've been doing discussion programs with Wallace Kimathi. I suspended this because I have been handling people who have relationship issues, family issues, and I didn't know how overwhelming it could be. Although I still welcome you, if you have relationship issues we can talk about, I can listen to you. If you have family issues you think we can discuss and try to find a way out, or even just somebody to talk to. Although I still do that, I must admit it was more overwhelming than I actually expected. So welcome back to Let's Talk Love, where I will discuss issues, matters to do with relationships and family and country, as indeed I've done before. I also will continue with testimonies. I'll bring people like we were doing, which for sometimes we had suspended. Above that, I do intend, perhaps in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, to start a live show in which you, the viewer, will have an opportunity to send in your questions. Some may be live on WhatsApp. Some you may have sent earlier, I will read. If you want us to disclose who you are, after we weigh the options, so long as you are not going to hit another person, including your spouse if you have separated, we will mention your name. We invite you to be part of the program by bringing people who can share what they have gone through. Testimony can sometimes help other people. So welcome back. Today, I want to talk about something that I have seen people complaining about. This is a very sensitive topic. It's about prostitution. Not whether or not prostitution is a good thing or a bad thing. Like they say, prostitution is the oldest trade or business. That's not what we are discussing here today. I want to talk to ladies today, married women. If you are listening with your husband, let him listen with you, watch with you. But today I address women. I want to explain why men go out for prostitutes. There are many reasons. But why would a married man go out for prostitutes? And this is directed at women. When a man has a sexual relationship with another person other than you, the wife, first, it doesn't mean you are not a good wife. It doesn't even have to do with you are not good in any other place, including the bed, in the kitchen, and what have you. It could be as simple as that men are just like that. Biologically, it is stated men are wired for procreation. And therefore, if you look at the animal kingdom, and men are just as animal as any other animal, we all are human beings. The male species is supposed to perpetuate the species more than the female part of the species. That's why you produce one egg during ovulation. In one ejaculation, a man produces millions of sperms. That explains the role of the man in procreation. That's why in some cultures, when a man is circumcised, he is told by the circumciser to spread his seeds wide. Some people think it's bad, but it just explains the whole concept. Today, I'm looking at why men go out for prostitutes. And I want to explain to women something very, very simple. When you date a man, or he dates you, or two of you are dating before marriage, or before a relationship, women go into these things in a slightly different way from men. You see, when a man is chasing after a woman, it could just be lust. And many men go to to bed with women, just to fulfill that lust. A woman must know that she's wired differently. Many women will go into sex with their heart. In other words, the man goes with his manhood, with his body. A woman goes to bed with her heart. So that's the first explanation you must know. And therefore, it is much more difficult for a woman to engage in casual sex than a man. That's one of the explanations as to why men may go for prostitutes. But the discussion today, I want to zero just on one aspect, which is in a relationship between a man and a woman, building what I've explained earlier, sex at some point becomes a responsibility to a man. This is something women ought to know. That when a man is chasing you, you are mean, you are tough, you play hard to get, indeed you could be hard. But when the relationship starts at some point, you must know it will be you who will be chasing after sex. Because sex to a man most of the time is just duty. If they had something they could do in the house about it, they could ignore it. Add to this the fact that sex is about satisfaction for a man, sexual satisfaction, which is not actually the same thing to a woman. Sexual satisfaction to a man is just to be allowed, we're allowing ourselves to be crude. It's basically to release himself, to ejaculate, and that's a very simple thing. But to a woman, it goes beyond that. Like I've said, it's from the heart. And even as a physical act, it takes a lot for a woman to get sexual satisfaction compared to a man. In fact, there are many women who complain, my man just turns me around, and before I know what's happening, the other side is snoring. You must understand the difference in that regard between a man and a woman. This knowledge will help you because as I proceed, I will be showing that, and we ought to know by now, basically sex is what two people make of it. Basically what two people make of it. So many people go out for sex because sex in the home is demanding. And I want you women to know this. A man must fulfill certain obligations to their woman, to their wife. Now, because when a man goes outside to look for a prostitute, those obligations are not on a man. If you are looking for reasons why men go out for prostitutes, married men, don't look at your beauty, at what you don't. No. It is because first, sex is a duty to a man at some point in a relationship. And he knows he must do certain things in the process of fulfilling that duty. Now, when a man goes for a prostitute, all that is not necessary. The prostitute is to provide him an opportunity to release himself. This is what I'm saying. Women must calibrate their relationship with their men. Women must calibrate their relationship with their men with that in mind. So that you work towards making sex something that's a product of love and enjoyment in the house, but while at the same time knowing that there reaches a point in a relationship where to a man it is just duty. If he had an option, he would not. In other words, as my friend John would put it, it is a very demanding duty. It's a very tiring duty. And occasionally the man will just want sex without obligation. And that's how prostitutes come in. Something else. When a man has a lot of nagging in the house, and yet he must go through the same thing as a duty, you can see how difficult it is. So the woman must make it easy for the man. And that's why the Americans say this. A woman must be a wife to a man, must be a mother to his children, and must be a whore, a prostitute. Not in that negative way. If you look at it, what it actually means, in terms of those obligations, in terms of making something not as much of a duty, but something that is enjoyable. Remember, a man could go out with a prostitute, because how do you prove your manhood in the bedroom when children have been sent home for feast? A house where people don't have sufficient food today cannot be a house that will provide leisure in the bedroom for the man. Because a man is wired to provide for the family. Anytime there are challenges in this duty that a man cannot provide for his family, even in the smallest of senses, like your child is at home, they didn't go to school because of school fees, that has an impact on the man. People did not have lunch today. That has an impact on the man. The mother-in-law is unwell and they cannot provide even 3,000 to take them to hospital. That has impact on the man. When there are so many of these challenges, it therefore means there will be times, and those times may be uncomfortably too many, when the man will need to release himself. And the prostitutes are waiting, they know that. They know there will be times you have quarreled with your wife. You'll come to them if you are a man. They know there are times you are not a man because people have not eaten in the house. And they are waiting for you, those prostitutes. They know your children have been sent for feast. There's that nagging mother-in-law, that nagging wife. I'm just trying to tell women, if you know the reasons that send men to prostitutes, and if you know how many men go for prostitutes, you'll be surprised. If prostitutes were to give their testimony, if they were to do video recordings and release them, the world will be at shock of the kind of men you see in suits. Religious leaders, political leaders, businessmen, good family men, choir masters in church, in the mosque. I'm trying to explain that it gets to a point when sex is a duty to a man. And there are things that make it very difficult for a man to be a man in bed. It is the responsibility of a woman. If you look at ancient literature, at words of wisdom from old women, at communities like the Uganda and Baganda that train their wives, their girls, how to handle a man in bed. If you read books like Utendi Mwana Kupona, or somebody preparing the daughter for marriage, then you begin to understand the greater responsibilities on the woman to understand those forces that will demand your man, those things that will dehone your man. It is precisely because of those things, a lot more than I've even mentioned, there are more, is for the woman to see situations in the house that will keep chipping away his man until finally he does not have a man in the house. It is your responsibility to know what it is that sends men to prostitutes. If you have a chat with prostitutes, they know. They provide a shoulder for a man who has spent the whole week being on the receiving end of the wife, nagging. They provide a shoulder for somebody who has been frustrated, has lost a job. They provide a shoulder for men who are stressed. So it's the responsibility of the woman to know, within the context of the relationship, within the context of the house, what are these things that send men out for prostitutes? And find a way of mitigate. You'll be surprised that there's so much you can do about it. Even just taming that mouth of yours. Sometimes running a mouth may not give you anything. Sometimes to help the man to handle the situation of school fees, not by paying, by walking the path with him, by him knowing that you are together, not by telling him what kind of man is he, that he cannot pay fees for the children. You finish all your money with prostitutes. Maybe not. Maybe now you are sending that man to the prostitute. So in summary today, I thought I would share with women to tell them that the prostitute is outside there and she gets her clients because of the state of the home. Indeed, this may surprise you. Prostitutes get more of their clients from the married men than single men. There you go. Let's Talk Love is here for you. Subscribe, share, support us. This M-Pesa number is down there because producing these shows is also not a joke. Come and talk to us. But in summary, remember, it is you to assess your situation in the home and ask yourself, which of these situations in my house today will provide a prostitute today with a client, and that client from my house. Thank you for listening, and please do subscribe to Let's Talk Love.